Extra is digging deeper now. With drug addiction numbers on the rise, access to services and mental health among young people are going down.
A Eugene-based nonprofit is hoping to change that in communities around Oregon. It's called Youth Era. And joining us live is founder and CEO Martin Rafferty. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, tell us about the program. Tell us about Youth Era.
Great. Yeah, so thank you so much for having us on. And Youth Era is an organization that works with young people, peers, mostly through the ages of 14 to 18. And what we do is we employ near peers. So we employ folks who are 18 to 25 who have gone through addiction, who have had their own walks with mental health. And we empower them to go back and help other young people who are going through those situations right now to help them find a way through.
Having that peer-to-peer support, what does that mean for teens, for young adults who are struggling with addiction?
Well, I don't think you have to be a young person to know that navigating the systems of today are very, very difficult. And so when it comes to system navigation, when it comes to finding strategies that work, strategies that are backed up by data, by research, we take young people who have gone through that successfully. We train them. We have a state certified training that helps them learn all of the best, most data-driven skills, and then we bring them to the young people in the communities. We're not waiting for them to come to us. We're going out and finding them.
What's your message to the young people that you serve and the other youth that are out there?
The message is really simple. It's scary out there right now for young people. I think a lot of adults can understand that they didn't grow up in the same world that young people are growing up in today. School shootings, addictions, climate change. These are themes that are on the minds of all high school students, all middle school students. And our message is really clear that don't go it alone. We have support, there are resources, there are people who care, and together we can find a way through. And not call this helpline and reach out for support, but there's meaningful help here. There are meaningful relationships that you can make with folks in your community to get through these rough times.
What are you seeing in your organization right now in recent years with the rollout of Measure 110, decriminalizing small amounts of drugs, with the rise in deadly fentanyl on our streets? Are you noticing these trends really impacting some of the youth in your programs?
Absolutely. I think a lot of people might think that some of these overdoses that are happening are something that these young people can predict. But the truth is that fentanyl and other drugs like this are making their way into all kinds of substances. And so these overdoses are shocking to young people who think that they're being safe, who think that they're doing harm reduction, but that's just not the case. And so we have lost more young people in this state by this problem than any of us are comfortable with. And that number is rising. And as it rises, people of Oregon have to do what we've always done. We have to pioneer a way forward. That's what 110 is about. It's not about finding the perfect solution sometime down the road. It's about helping people who need it right now.
How can parents and other teens get involved, as well as just people in the general community, to help out what you're trying to do?
I think the most important part that parents and people in the community can do here is realize that there's so much stigma around drug use. And as much as we would like drug use to not exist, it's not helpful to stigmatize it. And so when I'm talking to parents, I encourage them, talk to your young people, let them know that they can come and talk to you about these things, that they're not going to get in trouble. And if they do that, it could save their child's life. And so that's the most powerful message, is like, you want to be kind of an authoritarian because you love your kid. But the truth is that if you don't reduce the stigma between your relationship with your kid, that could have a consequence that you'll never walk away from, that your family can never walk away from. So reduce the stigma, open up that conversation, and make it safe for your kid to come and talk to you about these very complex situations.
And to your earlier point, Martin, kids these days are growing up in a very different world and dealing with some very different and very deadly things. So those conversations are more important than ever. We appreciate you having the conversation with us this morning. Thanks for joining us on AM Extra.
Thank you.
And for more information on some of the programs and how you can get involved with Youth Era, you can visit their website. It's youthera.org.